Hi, this is Ron Hagan, and we're at the Dallas Truck Show in 2009, and we're talking with Shaun Barney of PDI out of Utah, and we're going to talk about their air-to-air cooler. Hey, Shaun, tell me about this cooler.
Well, I mean, the reason why we decided to develop an intercooler that was called a high-performance intercooler is because we were having a lot of customers call. They would their air-to-air would either crack or go bad, and they wanted an upgrade that would help them cool their exhaust temperatures a little bit. So, just to give you a rundown, the way that we design our intercoolers is to flow a lot more air volume with no boost pressure drop across the cooler.
Okay.
The way that we accomplish that, for example, on this intercooler here, this one's for a 379 Peterbilt. It's 4 inches taller, a little bit longer on the cores, and it's about 3/4 of an inch thicker. By doing that, we get a lot better cooling capacity, and we can drop the exhaust temperatures significantly with that cooler.
What kind of temp drop do you see?
Usually about if you drop it into a factory spot, it's usually 150 to 200 degrees.
Really?
It's a big drop in the temperature.
Volume-wise, I guess that's dependent on the turbo.
It's going to be dependent on the turbo, but the nice thing about this cooler, the way that we design it, is they're all tested before they leave, so that they have no pressure drop across the cooler, which means usually a factory cooler will drop about 5 pounds across the cooler. These have no pressure drop across the cooler, so very high efficiency.
Wow.
The biggest thing to our intercoolers, any diesel engine, the biggest thing is intake air temperature. If you can keep your intake air temperature down, the better your engine's going to perform. And so by the time you take from the hot side to the cool side on this intercooler, you drop very dramatically across there, and you keep your intake air temperature down. And that's where you see the performance gains out of the intercooler.
Well, we do that with hot rods. We call it nitrous.
Absolutely. Same theory.
Same thing. You got more air molecules when it's colder.
Exactly.
Now, how does this compare in price to a stock turbo or stock air-to-air?
As far as price-wise, they are a lot more expensive.
Okay.
They are a lot better. They do come with a warranty. They do have the silicone grommets, so you're going to have very good performance out of them. Not have any issues with them. Again, going back to PDI, we stand behind our products, so you're going to be happy with it. I guarantee it.
All right. Do you use different materials from stock?
They don't. I mean, it's still aluminum. We still use the same material.
Okay. But it's not like titanium versus aluminum or anything like that. Okay.
Yep. And the nice thing about this intercooler is actually, if you test it, you actually get better airflow through the cooler, so you get more air to your radiator. So we do see a drop in the water temperature as well.
Really? Wow.
Well, we manufacture them for any of the pack car applications. We also manufacture them for Freightliner, Western Star.
So all pack car, all Freightliner, all Western Star?
Yes. And we can custom build them if you call us with an application.
So if a guy with a Mac wants one, you could build him one?
We can build him one. We just have to go by the factory specs and then base it off of that, and then we can meet your heat rejection specs, whatever you need.
So it's more than just the heat drop. You've got to physically get it into the truck itself as well.
Exactly. Yeah, and most of them are some are drop-in replacement, and some of them require just a little bit of modification. But any diesel repair shop should be able to put it in.
What? This is an awful wall question, but what about accessory drive losses? Given the fact that this thing flows better, do you think there would be less accessory drive loss by using this greater flow?
Yes, because you don't get any pressure drop across the cooler.
Okay.
And by doing that, you can, like we talked about before, that's keeping your intake air temperature down. So by doing that, your engine's going to run cooler. Your fan doesn't come on near as often, but when it does,
well, there's the key right there
faster.
too. Yeah.
It cools down faster.
No, so
I guess the biggest thing with the intercoolers is, it's one of the most overlooked pieces of equipment that you can upgrade. And when it's bad, people overlook it. But if you figure if you get a 5 to 8 pound air leak in your intercooler, it's very hard on turbos, and very hard on manifolds, and very hard on your motor. And so if you're going to replace it, you might as well put a good one.
How would you pressure check this? But if a guy needed to pressure check his air-to-air, where would he check from and to?
Well, what he's going to do is he's going to plug both ends of the intercooler, both ears. He's going to plug them both with a pressure checking equipment, just 2 plugs with a and they pressure it up, and if it leaks more than 5 pounds over 15 seconds, then he's got a pretty dang good leak in it.
And have you seen any air-to-airs plugged up?
Very uncommon.
Very uncommon. Okay.
Mostly they just crack, they split out right here, especially if you go to a performance charger where it's running more than the factory 27 or 28 pounds. If you're pushing 45 pounds of boost, you need a cooler that can handle it.
Right.
That's what we designed these for, because we have turbochargers that run excess of 70 to 80 pounds, and so you don't